It's day 2 of Vlogmas. It's a Monday and I woke up this morning to really cold temperatures. There was frost outside on our cars and I think it was minus 6 or 7 degrees Celsius. It was so cold. And I decided to go digging in my hand knit sweater drawer today. So I am wearing one of my favorite hand knits. This is the Felix pullover. The pattern is by Amy Christoffers, and I love this sweater. It fits so perfectly. It's just the right amount of coziness and warmth without me getting overheated, because I do. And I love that I have 3/4 length sleeves on it because the cuffs are not getting in the way while I have a million things to do today. It's one of my favorites. I also love this yarn, but I believe it's been discontinued. It's Joe Sharp Erin Tweed, and I'm pretty sure the color is licorice. I think I finished this sweater during a Vlogmas in a previous year. I'm not too sure, but I do have a Ravelry page with it, and it's just got me in a super cozy mood. Let's recap day 1 of Vlogmas because it's in the books, but it was kind of touch and go for a while. It was a crazy day. I always anticipate after this many years of doing Vlogmas that day 1 and sometimes day 2 will take a little longer for me to get pulled together. But I think I totally underestimated it this year. Yesterday, I was just running so behind. There was so much more I wanted to film, but in the end, Camden swooped in. He helped me cake up my yarn for my Advent socks. He made some treats. He helped me with a few other things. Everyone pitched in to clean up last night, but it was touch and go for a while. I don't know. I think I just leaned on a couple of friends. I was texting with Christina from Chelsea Yarns last night. We were both kind of going back and forth. She gave me a bit of a boost. I've got Red Bank Mike's words in my head, just kind of pushing me along. I think his words were, "We post." And my friend Courtney in Australia, she just sent me the most lovely audio message ever. I need to figure out if I can save it onto my phone because it's going to be my personal little pep talk whenever I need it. She is lovely. And yeah, I'm just pushing through. We're going to make it happen and make the most of it. Some days will be longer, more interesting videos. Other days will be shorter recaps of my day. I think that's to be expected with everyday life in December. So I wanted to chat with you about some knitting. I was hoping to have everything edited and uploaded last night in time for me to sit on the couch. We were planning on watching a movie and I was going to be cozy and work on my Advent socks. That did not happen, but I've made some progress today. So I've got the 2 Advent skeins caked up and in my little project bag. And this morning I cast on the first one and it's day 2, so I should have 2 stripes by the end of today on both socks. And I've just got the first one going and I've got about 1 and a little bit of a stripe done. So throughout the day, I will continue to pick this up, work on my 2x2 rib cuff, and then hopefully tonight I'll get that second one cast on and I will be caught up by tomorrow. That is the plan, and I think I can make it happen. And even if I don't, I think life will kind of calm down by tomorrow, and I'll just catch up tomorrow morning if I need to. So the plan is to do one stripe on 2 separate socks every morning of my Cozy Knitter Advent socks. My other knitting plans for this month are to finish this whip that I know I've chatted about for a while. It's been very close to being done for months. I think a couple weeks ago I did a couple more rows, but I'd really just like to get this done so that I can wear it this winter. This is the Stockholm hat by Petite Knits, and I'm loving the look of it. The yarn that I'm using is absolutely stunning, but I haven't been loving the decreases on this hat. So here's the yarn. These are Chelsea Luxe yarns, and I'm not sure if I have the ball bands here. I don't think I do. I'll look for the colors. I think this is Sugar Plum. Sugar Plum, DK, and mohair. And it's knitting up so beautifully. It matches my project bag quite nicely. But the decreases are not intuitive for me. And I had a couple of other people comment on a previous video where I spoke about it and they experienced the same thing. I think this is just a case where I need to push through. I'm very close to closing this up. It's almost done, but I need to accept that I'm not going to enjoy knitting the last part of it. I've loved knitting this hat up until the decreases, but I really need to reference the pattern because they change with each one, depending on if you're on a knit stitch, a purl stitch. Yeah, and I also don't love the way they're looking on one side, but there's not a lot I can do about it now. I'd really love to wear this hat. I think it will be super pretty with my winter coat. So this is at the top of my list to finish. I'd really, really like to do that in the next couple of days. So that is the whip that is going to get worked on next. And then I have this beautiful basket set up. It's been set up for a couple of weeks. The basket is from Big Blue MoMA. I love it. And in here is my next sweater cast on. Let's see, I'll pull this out. It is a mega stripe sweater by Camijo Knits. It's a pattern by, because I don't know her last name, I wanted to double check, Camilla Hoyer Adamson, who is the dyer behind Camijo Knits. By the way, I mentioned yesterday that Camilla was from Norway, which I know is incorrect. I know she's from Denmark. I don't know what I was thinking. I think my brain was just on overload, but I made a mistake when I said that yesterday. Camijo Knits is based in Denmark, and I'm also using her yarn for this pattern. It is a beautiful mega mohair striped sweater that is kind of oversized, and these are going to be my colors. I'm so excited about this pattern. I've had this caked up and ready to go for a few weeks, but I really just wanted to get my holiday project bag update wrapped up and everything shipped out. So it's been sitting patiently in this basket with needles, with a little notions pouch, all the things that I need to cast on. And yeah, as soon as I get that hat off the needles, this is my next project to work on. And I think because it's a mega mohair and large needles, it should be a quick knit, which I'm really hoping, because I have a couple of other sweaters I'd like to work on. I have my chunky dahlia that I started last year. I haven't made much progress on it. It got tucked away for a long time, and every once in a while I pull it out, I work on a couple of rows on the yoke, and then I tuck it away again. So that is another sweater I'd like to work on this December, and then I have a couple of others. There are so many sweaters that are calling to me right now, so I think it's going to be a season of sweater knitting for me. That's the plan. So I'm going to put all of my knitting away. I have a few things to get done first before I wrap up Glen's advent calendar. I've got some shipping to do. I've got a couple of emails to answer, but then I'm going to spend quite a bit of time this afternoon just getting myself organized after the craziness of yesterday, and hopefully things will just fall into place and this will become a little bit more natural to pull together, because yesterday, honestly, it was a blur. I don't even remember half of the day. I don't know what happened, but Camden and I were sitting down, I think it was 7:30 when we cleaned up from dinner, and we were enjoying some of our little pretzel treats. And I asked him what time it was, and he said, oh, it's 7:30, but it feels like 10 o'clock. So we are recuperating today and just getting on track, but I'm so excited to be here again this year. Thank you so much for all of your welcoming comments on day one. I noticed a couple people mentioning where they were posting from, like where in the world. I would love, if you wanted to share where you are from, to put that in the comments below, because I just find it so fascinating to see where everyone is watching from. It's such an amazing way to connect with people over the holiday season. So thank you for leaving a comment, and please share where you're from if you feel like it. So I'm going to get to the studio, get a little bit of shipping packed up and ready to go today so that I can start working on packing up Glen's advent. Glen informed me late last night that the quality street that I purchased yesterday and I put in this tray here is hard as a rock. He said he had to spit it out, so that's really disappointing. But in good news, these little treats were delicious. We used the square or waffle pretzels from Bulk Barn with Rolos and M&Ms, no, Smarties. But I think we could have used regular sized Rolos. We got the minis, but they're still delicious, super tasty, and they were quick to put together. So that was a fun little treat to make last night. I am going to pull out my Christmas journal in the next few days and start making lists, because I haven't done that yet. And a lot of the treats that I make during the holidays are the same every year, but I have pulled out my cookbooks, and I'm going to sit in the next few days with my journal and my cookbooks and see what, if any, cookies or treats there are I might want to add to our rotation this year. I like to try a new one, so we will see. I've got a couple of really good cookbooks that I've picked up in the last few months as well, so maybe I'll try out a couple recipes throughout the month and share those with you guys as well. My work table in the studio is a bit of a disaster, but we're going to deal with that next. I've got the DeWalt toolkit for Glen's Advent here, and I've spread out a whole bunch of his treats that need to be wrapped up or labeled or just sorted so that I can set this all up in the dining room for him tonight. So I've pulled out some of the older packaging that I've used for him, just some paper bags. I also found some of these like reusable fabric pouches that have come in a Homespun House advent calendars in the past. So I've hung on to these. I have another set of them somewhere. They are really handy to put treats in. So I'm going to do that next. But I wanted to share a couple of things that I picked up while I was out. Camden and I went to drop off all the shipping that needed to go out. So that was one check off of my list. Then I needed to stop at a really beautiful bookstore. It's one of my favorite places to go, Indigo. I can't show you what I got because there are a couple of gifts for people that may be watching this. But I did a click and collect order over the weekend and I just went to pick it up. While I was there, I also found a mug that I think Camden might get me for Christmas, and a couple of other things like ideas for Glen to get for me. So that was a nice little bit of a break. We just walked around and looked at all of the beautiful stuff. When I came home, this was here. I ordered this from Amazon. It is just, I don't know if this is the right one, but it's like a cotton weft yarn that I can use for weaving. We'll see how that goes. I also made a super quick stop at Staples because I had some color photocopies I wanted to pick up, and I got this transparency. And I really wanted to share because this is a major part of my journal and planner inspiration. It's one of the things I love using on my pages, especially when I need a really good starting point. I usually print off the monthly printable collage sheets from two people that I follow on Patreon. One is Courtney Diaz, who I adore. I need to go back and start saving all of her sheets and put in an order for hers, especially the holiday ones. They are so good. But last week I was watching a few of Erin Ware journaling videos. She's been extremely inspiring to me while I set up or just think about what I want to use in my journals and planners for 2025. And I decided to get a whole bunch of her sheets printed off, and I thought I would share with you because I adore them. She has videos on both YouTube and Patreon, but the collage sheets, these, or art sheets, are available if you are subscribing to her Patreon. Now, this one I wanted to test out, having it printed on a transparency sheet, and I'm obsessed with it. It is a gorgeous oven mitt. I don't know how I'm going to use this just yet. I think I'll trim it down a little bit and I'll just use it as a page in one of my journals. I'll see which one it fits in, maybe in a sketchbook. I'm not sure. I don't care, but I love it. And my local Staples will print anything on a clear transparency sheet, so that's nice. And I don't have a color printer at home, so I just get these sheets done in color. I got one of them on cardstock just because I thought it might be kind of neat to do that and use these as like little tabs. And then the rest are just a whole bunch of her sheets. These are her illustrations that I really wanted to have to cut up and use in my pages. So there's just the regular paper with the oven mitt. That's beautiful. Oh, so was this maybe backwards? It was. There you go. Isn't that pretty? So it just adds a little bit of a different element to your pages, and I love incorporating other people's art as opposed to just stickers and washi tape and things like that. So I also got this one. I thought it would be beautiful to put this as like maybe a divider or a dashboard in one of my journals. I really love Erin's style. These are tabs you can cut out and put on the edges of your pages. This one was an older one. I went back and just printed a couple. And I think I've printed these before. These are creative prompts, so I printed that again. Looks like I have another one of those. But I'm super excited because throughout this month, I'm going to be starting to set up some of my journals and planners for the new year. I'm sticking with some that I've used in the past. I've got a new one coming that I'm going to be using mostly for work, but in a slightly different way than I have in the past. And that was all inspired by Erin Ware. I'm going to put both Courtney and Erin's links down below in the description because they are both such talented ladies and lovely, lovely people as well, which is important to me when I am supporting an artist or a maker. I just love when you know that they are good people as well as talented. And so I wanted to share these because I've known about them for years and I just love having these sheets. And if you have a color printer at home, even better, even easier. But for me, it's super easy. I just go onto the Staples website. I put in like a service order for color copies, and then I upload the files. I pick if I want it color or not, and it's ready within 24 hours, which is fantastic. So we just picked those up today as well. I think they've been ready for a few days, but today was the first day that I got around to doing that. I am actually looking at the clock again and feeling a little bit like I did yesterday. The day is completely getting away from me, but I've gotten so much done, which is great. I am just going to focus on getting as many of these wrapped up as possible because I'm really looking forward to a quiet night where I can just put my feet up tonight and do a little bit of knitting. It's even making me think I might save what I had for dinner plans tonight and have that tomorrow, because Glen's already mentioned he's really craving a shawarma from a local place that is delicious. So I'm contemplating that because what I pulled out of the freezer for dinner tonight is not quite defrosted, and I don't think it will be for tonight's dinner. So I am just going to go with it and do whatever allows me to have a more quiet, peaceful night so that I can sit down and work on my Advent socks.